Hi, and welcome back to the Crafty Author. My name is Anissa. I am the Crafty Author, and welcome to my quilting studio. So we are going to continue working on our Scraptastic scrap quilt this week. And I'm going to show you how we start putting these blocks together. It's very exciting. I am still a little behind as I'm coming back from vacation and trying to get all of my blocks sewn together, squared up, and kind of put together. So I'm about halfway through, and I'm pretty excited on the progress that I've made doing that. I had hoped to have it all done today, but I just think that that's an unrealistic goal to set at this point. So, as you can see, I received my The Crafty Author sign that I made when I was in Arizona. So I have that hanging up here. And then I have the Keep on Crafting sign on the other side on my other bookshelf, or on my other, on my other bookshelves. So it looks very cool. I love it. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up because you love it too. And we're going to just jump right in and get started right now. Okay, so by now you should have 48 squares. If you don't have 48 squares done, then you need to finish them, much like myself. But what I want to show you is this is what they should look like. And Lord knows I am so tired of squaring up at this point because, oh, that's a chore. I'm telling you what. It's okay when you're doing like, one or two, but when you have to do a whole bunch, it gets exhausting. So I feel your pain. I do. So this is what you should have right now, is something like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to start sewing these pieces together. And they are starting to form a very cool pattern. You want the L, the black L, you want that facing towards the edge. So I will flip the camera and show you what I have going already, just so you can see and get an idea of how to put this on there. So that is all that our focus is going to be for this week, is to finish our squares and get them sewn together. And then next week, we're going to work on the border piece, and then we'll start working on the backing. So it's going to be so much fun. I can't wait until this quilt is done, because I think you are absolutely going to love it, especially those of you who are following along and doing this with me. It's so much fun. It's just a fun project. So what I'm going to tell you is that this is actually forming an illusion. I don't know if you've ever seen an illusion quilt, but that is what this is doing. So when we get all of these blocks together, I will point it out and show it to you, although I think you'll probably be able to see it all on your own anyway. But this part, your 4-patch blocks look like they're jumping out. They look like they're popping. And it's because of this shadowing around them that's causing them to pop. And now you can probably see it on camera because I've shown that to you. But when you get a bunch of them going, they really jump out at you, and it almost looks like a 3D quilt. So that was my intention. I wanted to do something cool like that. I've never made one of these before. And so I was like, ooh, this will be fun. And once I started cutting the strips, I had to make sure that I was cutting them the right size so that they would jump out and pop. So that's kind of where the math and stuff was coming in. And so things were a little bit crazy. Anyway, enough of that. So we're going to get started. I'm going to flip this around. I'm going to show you how to lay out your quilt. We're going to go to the sewing machine. I'm going to show you how to sew them together. It's just like sewing anything together. And then we'll look on the quilt wall afterwards, and we'll see what our design looks like. So as you can see, now don't mind my messy stacks here, But this is how I have the quilt laid out. So you're going to have 6 blocks in each row. Okay. And the best way to do this is to have the L shape facing the left-hand edge. And I would just stack my blocks like so, just so that you have it just like that, so that you know how you're going to be sewing those in order. As you can see, I've got my Keep On Crafting sign up here. So I have that right behind my sewing machines, and it looks so good in here. I love it. All right, so now I'm sitting at the sewing machine, and I am going to make sure I have 6 in each of my piles here, and I do. And I have my L shapes facing that way to the left. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to put my fabric blocks right sides together. I'm going to line them up perfectly. And I'm going to make sure that my first black edge here, my first L is to the left. And then when I match them up, I want to make sure that this one is also going to be to the left. So I'm just going to go ahead and stitch this. Like I said, right sides facing each other. You gotta fix the fabric and make sure it's nice and even. Okay, now I am using a 1/4 inch seam for this. I'm going to grab another one from my pile. I'm going to open this up and I'm going to finger press it to the dark. So this would be the darker side because of the way the L's are shaping, or the L's are facing. So just like that. And then I'm going to put the next one down. Right sides facing each other again. And 1/4 inch. And again, I'm going to finger press to my right. And I am just going to continue repeating this process until I have 6 of these in my row. Okay, for those of you looking for a little faster way to do this, I'm going to show you. So you would take your top piece, and then you would take your next piece and you put them right sides facing each other, just like we did when we did it the first way. You're going to sew down 1/4 inch. You're going to grab another piece. You're going to do the same thing. Right sides together. And then you're going to sew them using 1/4 inch. So you're just basically chain piecing these and making it easier on yourself to put it together. Instead of sewing onto one long row, this makes it a little bit easier to attach the blocks to each other. So you can see how fast that went. Then you're going to trim your threads in between. You'll have a thread in between there. You want to trim those. Okay. You're still going to finger press. Still going to finger press to the right. You're going to do that with all of your pieces that you have. Just finger press that down. Okay. Then you're going to take the first two that you sewed together, and you're going to put the second two that you sewed together, right sides facing each other. Sew down a 1/4 inch seam. You're going to trim your thread, cut your threads at that point. I'm going to open this up, and I am going to finger press these. Then I'm going to line up the last two blocks that I have, and I'm going to do the same thing using the 1/4 inch seam. Just helps it to go a little bit faster. It's just a little trick. I thought I would show it to you because these little tricks can make your life a whole lot easier. And now we have a whole row of 6 sewn together. All right, so I have all 4 of my rows pieced and pressed and everything else. So now it's time to attach them. So what we do is we are going to take the first 2. So you'll have your right sides facing up like this. You'll have your L in the corner like that. You're going to take your top piece of your other row, and your L piece, your black piece, is going to go up at the top. And you're going to line that up with the edges just like you would if you were sewing any other row together. And then you are going to just start stitching. Now you can pin this. I'm not going to pin it. I'm just going to start, but you could definitely pin it or clip it. Now I have my seams here. It doesn't really look like any of them are really going to nest, but I am going to be mindful of that and pay attention to see if there are any. And if there are, then I will want to make sure that they match up. Otherwise, you're just going to start stitching and using a 1/4 inch seam. Since there's not really anything to line up with this, I'm not concerned about the pinning or the clipping. So, but if you feel like you need to do that, then you should. As you know, I'm not a big pinner, so I only really do it when I feel I have to. So, all right, we have 1 row done. Going to open that, and I'm going to try and finger press it. All right, so I have 2 pieces now. And what I did, hold on, something doesn't look right. Yep, it's right. Scared myself for a second. I pressed this, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put both of these together. So our quilt is starting to get a little bit bigger. Again, I'm going to just lay this one on top, face up. And I am going to make sure that I have this going the right direction. So your L, if you get caught up, you should remember that the L shape goes in the corner. Okay. And then the other one, the other black L shape should go up in this corner. It's the only way I could remember this because you have to do it this way. Otherwise, it won't turn out right. So just remember. And then you just start stitching them together. Now this part is a little bit bulky, so if you want to pin or you want to clip it, this would be a good time to do that. I just adjust the fabric as I sew down. It's just easier for me to do it that way. Again, I'm using a 1/4 inch seam allowance here. And we are just about done. So you can see how quickly this goes once you start going. So now I'm going to go press it open. I'm going to hang this on the quilt wall and we're going to take a look at it. All right. So this is what we have. This is what it looks like on the quilt wall. And as you can see those squares look like they're popping out at you. They look like 3D. I think they look so cool. So yeah, so go ahead and get yours done. Get them sewn together, get everything pressed. You can see that mine are very, very scrappy, patchy squares. I have a lot of baby fabric that I used in mine. And it actually is turning out really quite cool, to be honest. I've got flannel, I've got cotton. I have dinosaurs, panda bears, teddy bears. So you can see that there are all kinds of fabrics in mine. And there you can see how they're popping out. So of course, the darker the contrast, the more it pops. But because it was so scrappy, you know, it didn't really matter to me for this one. Because you can still see it popping out. It just looks amazing. I can't get over that. So that is it for me today. So if you don't have all of your squares and stuff done, make sure you get them done. Let's start getting those rows sewn together. And I'm so excited. I love the way this quilt is turning out. It looks amazing. So now I need to start thinking about how I'm going to quilt it. Anyway, that is it for me today. Remember that if you are following along or if you would like to follow along and you have missed any of it, any of the Scraptastic Scrap Quilt series, you can always go to my blog, which is craftyauthor.com, and you will see that I have everything for the scrap quilt on there as well. All the measurements, everything that you need to do, and plus I have full video tutorials that you can watch. So, if you would like to follow me on social media, the links are down below in this description box. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up because when you do, it helps the YouTube algorithm to see it and it helps it to show it to more people. Yay! And if you'd like to share, that'd be great because sharing is also caring. And don't forget to click that little bell. You get notified each and every time that I upload a new awesome video. And we have lots of fun here. And I would hate for you to miss that. So, with that said, keep on crafting. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.